What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I'm going to be reviewing Turning Red, the most recent Pixar film. If you didn't know, I'm a huge Pixar fan, but I actually didn't know about this film until like a month before its release, when I found out it was directed by Domee Shi, who, if you didn't know, directed the short film Bao, which I thought was fantastic. It was far better than the film it was attached to, being The Incredibles 2, which I thought was aggressively mediocre. Not only that, but she's also Canadian, and if you didn't know, I myself am Canadian. And the film is set in Toronto. Although I don't live in Toronto, I do live near that area, and I have been to Toronto on multiple occasions. So seeing landmarks like the CN Tower and the Rogers Centre was really cool for me. Even simple things like the corner store Daisy Mart. I walk past stores like that on a daily basis, so seeing them in a big studio film like this was very refreshing and made it feel like home to me. Not only that, but it is beautifully animated, as has come to be expected from Pixar, with inspiration drawn from anime in some very fun and creative sequences. It's also very well paced. I didn't feel like any individual points in the story dragged on. I just felt like the plot was very well paced all around. And it's very funny, which is something that you expect from Pixar as well. But some films do struggle with tonal consistency, and I felt like this film balanced the emotion and heart at its core very well with the humor. I also love that the film being set in Canada actually serves a purpose in the story. A lot of films set their stories in specific places for no reason, but this film is in many ways a Canadian story. The director, Domee Shi, is very much trying to tell her own life story. The main character is Chinese, as is she, and the title Turning Red can really refer to many things. There's the obvious puberty allegory, as people have pointed out, but it can also refer to immigration. The Canadian flag is red and white, and turning red can refer to becoming Canadian. She immigrated to Canada and became Canadian, and I think that's really cool how she's telling her own life story while also conveying a universal message. This film, at its core, has a universal message that anyone can connect with, but it also has individual parts that can appeal to each individual audience member, and I think that's great. Speaking of being able to connect with the film, that's really what I wanted to talk about in this video, because it seems as though many people are unable to. Although the reception for the film has been positive overall, there are several individuals online who have stated that they are unable to connect with the film because of the fact that it's about a girl going through her period who is obsessed with boy bands. And although that is the case, that's not what the film is about. The film is about acceptance. The main character has to accept the weird, quirky parts of her personality, and her family has to come to accept that about her as well. It's a story about acceptance. Yes, puberty and boy bands are things in the film, but the film isn't purely about those. The message of the film, being acceptance, is something which is universal. Okay, sure, I wasn't able to relate to the protagonist in the fact that she's going through her period or whatever, but I was able to connect with her in the fact that she feels torn between helping her family and pursuing her passions. She wants to go to boy band concerts and hang out with her friends, but she also feels a commitment to her family, and I can relate to that. If you didn't know, my household mainly consists of me and my parents. I do have siblings who come to visit on occasion, but they don't live with us. My parents are getting a little bit older, so most of the heavy lifting around my household comes down to me, and I like to help out my family, but I also like to try and find time to do things that I like to do. I love making videos, I love music, and I love writing. My parents are very supportive of my interests. I'm not saying that they are strict like May's mother in Turning Red, but I'm just telling you that that was one aspect of the film that I was personally able to connect with, and I'm sure that many other people out there were able to connect with different aspects of the film. It's a very relatable film. And it's not generic either. I've seen a lot of people claiming that it doesn't feel like it came out of Pixar. It feels like any other generic family film. But I don't think it's that at all. What other family film can you think of that talks about girls going through puberty? Oh, I can actually think of quite a few. One of them being 8th Grade. That movie's freaking fantastic. Go check that one out. But can you think of a family film where a girl is going through puberty while turning into a red panda? I don't think so. The film is very unique in its concept and execution. I don't understand why people seem to think that it isn't unique. There seems to be this false conception that every Pixar film has to be the most subtle thing in the world. The message in this film is very up in your face, so to speak, but that works for the film. The entire film is very up in your face and awkward and somewhat cringy. I've seen people describe the film as being cringy, but that's really what it was going for. It's intentional. I'm not going to rag on the film for being what it is. And that's really what it seems to come down to. People either misunderstanding the film or being unwilling to accept it for what it is. A lot of people have said the film is awkward and cringy. Yes, it is that, but that doesn't make it bad or good. The film is trying to be awkward and cringy. If you're unable to relate to it, that's fine, but don't act like it is an objectively bad film, because it's not. It has many great attributes. And I don't know why talking about real subject matter in a movie is bad. I've seen a lot of people say that they view film and television and just entertainment in general as a form of escapism. And I can understand that. I view a lot of entertainment as escapism as well. But I don't feel like entertainment should be devoid of any substance. Last year, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier got a ton of hate because it talked about racism. Why should we not talk about racism? It's a real thing in the world. Ignoring it only hurts society. It's the same thing with Turning Red. Why should we not talk about periods or people going through an awkward phase in their teen life? That's something that happens to everyone. Why should we ignore it or act like it doesn't happen? I don't understand why entertainment talking about real subject matter is a bad thing, because if anything, I feel like there's more value to entertainment if it has real subject matter that is of substance. I'm not gonna act like this film is perfect. There were some things that felt a tad bit underdeveloped to me, particularly the relationship between May and her father. For most of the film, the father is treated as a background character and used for comedic relief, until the third act, when he comforts his daughter and acts as a form of support for her, unlike her mother, who has been mostly restrictive of her. But in the scene preceding that one, he's shown trying to prevent her from leaving the panda ritual, despite the fact that in the previous scene, he had been shown as being supportive of her panda side. They didn't really give enough of an internal look into his character so that we would understand his actions, but overall, I feel like the film excelled extremely well at what it's trying to be. It's very weird, abstract, and strange, but the film's about imperfection, and how we need to accept our imperfections. Likewise, the film is imperfect, but in that way, it's almost perfect at being what it's trying to be. All in all, the film was just extremely inspiring to me as an aspiring Canadian animator who wants to become part of the film industry. Seeing how far Domi Shi has come to the point where she has now produced a film for Pixar, arguably the greatest animation studio out there, and has gotten people like Ludwig Göransson and Sandra Oh to work on it, is incredible. It's just such an inspirational film to me, and I loved it. But I'm sure not everyone will. Not everyone is going to love this movie, but I just wanted to make this video giving you guys my thoughts on it and also discussing how I feel some people are misunderstanding what the film is about. But you guys, please let me know. What did you think of Turning Red? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.